you ever play the game of Chinese whispers as a child? I did. It's a game that is supposed to stem from an incident that happened in World War I, where the message of "send reinforcements, we're going to advance" was sent along the long lines of the trenches. But it only arrived at headquarters as the message "send 3 and 4pence, we're going to a dance." The problem with whispering is that the words change in the telling, and in this loud, busy modern world of ours, we're so used to shouting at each other. The message is blared from the radio or from the TV. It's written in large letters on the adverts we see every day all around us. Or it is almost literally in our face with every step we take. Any message that is not shouted in this way is missed. It almost seems as if the message doesn't even exist. But God doesn't shout. One of my favourite stories from the whole of the Old Testament scriptures can be found in the first book of Samuel. It's in chapter 3 and it's the first 18 verses. We read there these words: "The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. In those days the word of the Lord was rare. There were not many visions. One night Eli, whose eyes were becoming so weak that he could barely see, was lying down in his usual place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel answered, 'Here I am.' And he ran to Eli and said, 'Here I am, you called me.' But Eli said, 'I did not call. Go back and lie down.' So he went and lay down. Again the Lord called, 'Samuel.' And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, 'Here I am, you called me.' 'My son,' Eli said, 'I did not call. Go back and lie down.' Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. The Lord called Samuel a third time. And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, 'Here I am, you called me.' Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, 'Go and lie down. And if he calls you, say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood there, calling as at the other times, 'Samuel, Samuel.' Then Samuel said, 'Speak, for your servant is listening.' And the Lord said to Samuel, 'See, I am about to do something in Israel that will make the ears of everyone who hears of it tingle. At that time I will carry out against Eli everything I spoke against his family, from beginning to end. For I told him that I would judge his family forever because of the sins he knew about. His sons made themselves contemptible, and he failed to restrain them. Therefore I swore to the house of Eli, the guilt of Eli's house will never be atoned for by sacrifice or offering.' Samuel lay down until morning, and then opened the doors of the house of the Lord. He was afraid to tell Eli the vision, but Eli called him and said, 'Samuel, my son.' Samuel answered, 'Here I am.' 'What was it he said to you?' Eli asked. 'Do not hide it from me. May God deal with you, be it ever so severely, if you hide from me anything he told you.' So Samuel told him everything, hiding nothing from him. Then Eli said, 'He is the Lord. let him do what is good in his eyes. This story has inspired so many Christians, and there have been several really good hymns written that refer to this story of Samuel, hearing and responding to God's voice in this way. In particular, I think of Daniel L. Shutt, who wrote the hymn, "Here I Am, Lord," also known as "I, the Lord of Sea and Sky," which recalls this selfsame story, and is a hymn that's often used for ordinations and commissionings, especially within the Roman Catholic Church. And another hymn, one that's a special favourite of mine, was written in the 19th century by James Drummond Burns. It's called "Hushed Was the Evening Hymn." This hymn reminds us that Samuel not only had an ear to listen to the Lord, but he had a heart to understand what it was that God was asking him to do. And he also had a mind to actually go and do it. It's so easy for each one of us to be so busy that we fail to listen to the small, still voice of God in the silence, to fail to respond to that whisper in our hearts that says we should be more loving, more gracious, more forgiving. It is so easy to be so busy following the crowd that we miss the opportunity to be individuals. It's so easy to miss God speaking to us, pointing out the way that we know we should go. It is so easy for each one of us, even should we hear God's whisper, to fail to understand the plain meaning of his word, because we do not feel the passion of his will in our hearts. It's so easy for us to fail to respond to God's still, quiet voice, simply because we might fear what others might think. It is so easy for each one of us to be so set in our ways that we fail to find the will to follow God's prompting, to fail to have the mindset that says, go and do, trusting in the Almighty, and instead retaining the mindset that says, stay, continue in the same old ways that we know and which make us feel comfortable. To do only those things that we have always done simply because we have always done them. To be a Samuel takes courage. It takes determination. And it starts with listening. To be a Samuel is to be a God listener. To be a Samuel is to be a God understander. To be a Samuel is to be a God doer. Jesus himself said to us in the Gospel according to St. John in chapter 10 verse 27, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me." Do we truly know Jesus? Do we truly listen to him? Do we truly follow where he leads? Give me an ear like Samuel to hear the small whisper of the divine. Give me a heart like Samuel to understand and to know what it is that he wants me to do. Give me a mind like Samuel, determined to do what he asks of me. May God bless you.